We've had some great sessions today. Now is part of the day you've actually been waiting for. We're going to kick off the happy hour show. I'd like to first thank Guidehouse and Jonathan Shiery for sponsoring this happy hour, which is much needed in these crazy times. We'll have our opening act. What's that?
The consultant.
The consultant. Jonathan, the consultant. We'll have our opening act, Shyla, followed by some stand-up comedy and a special presentation on the state of M&A in 2020 from comedian Anish Mitra. We'll end with an off-the-record panel and town hall on M&A bloopers. To kick things off, I'm introducing our opening act. In addition to global M&A thought leadership, she also does comedy on the side. Please flood the chats with emojis for my daughter, Shyla Patel. And it is all yours.
Me?
Yep.
Okay. What type of bee can you toss around?
You guys know?
Nothing. I've got nothing.
They don't know.
Nothing.
No idea.
A frisbee. Okay, next joke. What type of air is rich?
I mean, you've got one consultant and one dropout banker, so I don't think we got the answer to this.
Yeah, for sure. No idea. Don't know what it's like to be rich.
A billionaire.
Oh,
There you go.
Okay, last joke. What do you call a banker with no friends?
A banker with what?
What do you call a banker with no friends?
Ooh. I'm afraid to try to come up with an answer.
I like how the camera panned to me. No idea.
Okay, it's a loner.
That was for the credit people on the call.
Yeah. It's funny how like all of us that hit us about 30 seconds afterwards, we all turned to laugh and realized what actually was happening there.
That was deep. That had layers.
Ready for last one?
Yeah. My dad says my career is gonna be better than the next act. Let's give it up for Anish Mitra.
All right.
Thank you. What is gonna be better? Why are we using the future tense? I would rather be a seed investor in your daughter than majority owner in myself. I'm telling you, that's awesome. Big round of applause. Flood the chat. But welcome everybody. This looks awesome. We got 128 people on here. I've been working with Kison and Jonathan from Guidehouse for the past few weeks to put together some much needed entertainment for you guys. So obviously grab a drink, grab a bottle, finish up your drink, grab another one. This is going to be fun. Dialing in here from Los Angeles. But my name is Anish Mitra. I am a comedian, entertainer. I am an ex-banker. I used to work at Goldman Sachs for many years. I don't know if we have any fellow Goldmanites or other bankers on the call. Hopefully you're still out there doing your thing, slinging deals. But I moved to LA recently, so I'm dialing in from LA. If you're from we got a DJ D Soul. Yup, he's out here. He's also living the artist life as well, just like me. We're two peas in the same pod here, the same hustle. But this is going to be really fun. I'm going to do 5 minutes of just, getting you guys warmed up, talking a little bit about me, and then the main event. And this is huge. This is huge. A lot of you signed up to join this conference to learn about what's happening in M&A and to maybe bring back some, one or two nuggets of insight back to your teams and try to have a great rest of the year. This is what you've been waiting for. Okay, we have some unbelievable insights that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about diligence, integration, valuation in this age. And then we're going to end it off with some deals that we see on the horizon. And by see, we mean they're definitely happening. So, stay tuned. It's going to be a good time. If you guys are ready to get started, I mean, in the chat, just let me see some emojis, maybe a thumbs up, maybe even just a hi. do your thing, unmute your mics if you want, and let's get started. It's like Kison and the M&A thought leader in the room. His daughter Shyla said, my name is Anish Mitra. I've been called many things in my life, many things that are not Anish. I've been called Anush by a lot of people, Anash. I had a boss once who called me Amit, which is just another Indian name. Weird part about it was he was also Indian too, which didn't really help. It wasn't Kison, by the way. It was someone else. I end up turning a lot of heads. I can see some confused faces when I tell people I'm Indian, because I don't really look Indian from what I've been told. My parents are from Calcutta, India. I don't know if we have anyone from Calcutta on the call. A lot of M&A going on in India, maybe, who knows? But I'm Indian, and every time I tell people that, I feel like I'm telling them I'm from Mars. I always get questions. I get a lot of follow-up questions like, oh, what part of India is Mexico in?
Oh.
My facial hair doesn't exist, as you can tell. I swear I'm not 12 years old. I'm not one of Shyla's classmates. I am a grown man. I'm an adult. I graduated school a long time ago, but all of my facial hair is literally above my eyes. I grew up in New York City. I don't know if we have any New Yorkers on the line. I hope so. Or maybe you used to be New Yorkers, but now you're comfortably dialed in from Aspen or Naples, Florida, like my man Jonathan, or who knows, somewhere safe. New York. I love growing up in New York. I grew up in Queens, New York. It's a great place, or it was very diverse, one of the most diverse places in the world. I was one of many brown people in Queens. And then when I was 8 or 9 years old, probably close to Shyla's age, my parents moved to the suburbs, and I became the only Hispanic in my community. It was crazy adjustment period. I loved school. I spent a lot of time in school. I ended up going to college. Ew. Don't know if that's a good decision anymore. Don't know what the ROI is on college, but I went to Brown University. I don't know if we have any fellow Brunonians in here. Hopefully your career ended up a lot better than mine, but Brown was a fun time. I loved going to Brown. I found out wasn't very brown. I thought I'd meet a lot of brown people. I ended up just meeting different kinds of Jewish people. It was more of just like 4 years of networking. That's pretty much what happened. Going to Brown made me less brown. I remember when I was talking to my dad my junior year, and he was like, so what are you majoring in? And I said, I really like economics. I think I want to do economics. He looked at me and he goes, oh, wow, that's a really tough major. What kind of medicine is that again? Exactly. Haven't heard of that one. But don't know if we have any international folks on, people from outside the US. Canada does not count. I have so many international friends because of college. That was the best experience, just meeting so many different people. One of my best friends is literally from India. I met him at Brown. He had never been in the United States before. And it was really tough. I saw it firsthand. It was really tough for him to get adjusted to life in the States. But I have to say, after 4 years, his math and science grades were so bad that he had become a real American. He'd really done it. I was proud of him. I imagine there's a lot of different types of folks here involved in the M&A ecosystem. Like I said, I used to be an investment banker. If you're a banker or an advisor, or you work with bankers, or you work at Deloitte, whatever it is, just feel free to say something in the chat just so I can have an idea. I used to work at Barclays. I was a banker. I'd never interned really. It was really new for me. I realized banking was a lot like being a DJ. I'm not surprised that the CEO of Goldman Sachs is a DJ. Banking is very similar. You're alone. You're behind a computer at all hours of the night. People are always requesting things from you at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. All your friends are out there in the world, partying, having a great time, doing drugs. and you're just sitting there in front of your computer doing drugs. It's kind of crazy. I think working at a bank, a lot of my colleagues were big baseball fans. I'm not a huge baseball fan. I don't know if we have baseball fans in here. But I realized why. Because working at a bank is a lot like playing baseball. Everyone's wearing kind of the same thing, or they used to before COVID. Everyone wore the same clothing, whether, if it's a suit or some sort of standard uniform, right? It's just the logos that are different, the brands that are different. There's usually 8 people standing around, not doing anything, watching 2 people doing the work, right? If a woman runs on the field, everyone goes crazy, like, oh my God, this is not a great environment for women. What is going on? And the best employees are, usually the minorities. So baseball, I feel like I'm just a default baseball fan. I don't know if we have anyone in here who is, single, not just for tax purposes, but actually single. I'm single male. Dating has been really weird during these times. It's pretty much all just chats and online stuff. I think before people would focus a lot on things like, oh, what are you interested in? Do you like the same movies I like? Or what do you watch on Netflix? I feel like people nowadays, when I talk to my friends, they're still doing that stuff online. They're still asking about mutual interests. And I just don't get it. Like, really? We're in some pretty tough times right now. Instead of talking about mutual interest, you should be talking about things like interest. Okay. Are you getting interest income? Right? We need security. Are you making interest payments? God forbid. Like, that's the stuff we want to know. Like, don't post pictures of yourself on vacation or in a bathing suit. Like, we don't need to see that right now. That's not happening. Like, post a picture of your portfolio, or maybe a big receipt that you're really proud of with a timestamp, obviously. Those are the things that matter right now. We want security. Although, like, I do have a friend who just got engaged. I don't know if we have anyone here on the call who's recently been engaged. Congratulations if so. It's been crazy to see these on Zoom. I've seen 1 or 2 Zoom weddings, but I have a buddy who got engaged, and he posted a picture on Facebook, and, he was like, oh my God, I can't believe she said yes. And the thing is, they've been dating for 10 years. They've been dating for a whole decade. And he was so happy about this. I was like, guy, after 10 years, I think she's just saying okay. But, that's just me. Make some noise, guys. Are you with me on this? What's going on? I feel like I'm talking about M&A here. What's up?
Right here, man. Got you.
There we go. There they are. They were on mute.
I got that button to mute everybody at once, just a magic thing. It just works like a jar.
Like Battleship Galactica over here, my man manning the ship. I'm ready to get into some of these insights, man. I think that's what they're waiting for, and I'm ready to give them. Jonathan, I don't know if you're ready, and I think we should dive into it.
I've never been ready to give your slide deck.
Oh, wow. That means a lot. Coming from a consultant, that means a ton. He's had a lot of that back.
You did this presentation earlier. This is just, the warm up for that.
All right. Well, look, I hope you guys are ready for this. There's going to be some big reveals in here. We're going to talk about a lot of things. So I'm going to do it. I'm about to share my screen. Let's do this.
I'll flip back on you.
All right. Give me a thumbs up if you can see this. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. So the state of M&A in 2020, I imagine that must be what you guys have been talking about all day. But I'm not sure if we've talked about a few key differences just in terms of work life, diligence, integration, valuation, and then looking ahead. So that's what we're going to cover for the next, 10 to 15 minutes. If anyone has any major questions, feel free to jump in, obviously make some noise. We do have, I know a lot of people are worried. We do have a consultant on the call with us to ask some thought-provoking questions and give some great commentary in case we do need some extra color. So I'm going to dive right into it. The state of M&A in 2020. And after this, we'll wrap up with some bloopers. Grab a drink your drink, do a couple shots. No one's watching. This is going to be good.
Anish, how did you go about selecting the font for this one?
Oh, so we did a bottoms up analysis of, the top 1,000 fonts in America. And then, we broke it down by quartile, did a lot of A/B testing. And this one turned out to be the cheapest. So we just went with this one.
I like the consistency.
And Verdana is for losers.
Yes, that was another key learning we found out during all the digging we did. So yes, but before we get into it though, our lawyers have a couple things they want to say. There are going to be some forward-looking statements that we're making. I think everything is actually forward-looking. Why look backwards? You're not going there. By forward-looking statements, what we do mean are completely fabricated claims with some element of truth. Okay, the idea here is to laugh, so chuckle if you think something's funny. We're going to poke a little bit of fun at just what we do here in the M&A world. All these statements represent my views, but probably yours too. Don't be shy. But, I know the truth. Even if you don't know, it is what it is. We're going to have a few of these forward-looking words like expect, anticipate, target, believe. We're also going to have some other words like Jeff Bezos is mad rich, YOLO. If you know, you only live once. And, things may or may not be as entertaining as we want them to be, but hopefully we're going to learn a lot coming out of this. Oh, and lastly, do not be foolish and take any investment advice from anyone. Okay, as we've seen in this market, unless they're a 14-year-old Robin Hood trader. In that case, note everything down, lever up those trades, dump them in, remortgage the house, do what you got to do. But Warren Buffett's talking, put him on mute. Social revolution, lagging, bandwidth issues. Must be the murder hornets then. Maybe it's those guys, those pesky murder hornets just ruining everything. And then, worst of all, we got grown men doing TikTok dances. Probably have some of those guys on the call. Okay, I'm one of those people. Don't be embarrassed. It's a fun activity. So what's really going on? I mean, we have all this stuff happening. So naturally, S&P is up 40% since the low. Okay, I hope all of you have been fully deployed. I hope no one's been trading in and out, or at least trading in. Pretty unbelievable. And of course, don't worry. American billionaires are doing just fine. No need to be concerned. As a matter of fact, if you know any, now might be the time to pitch them some of those buy-side ideas or potentially rally around. So, what exactly is going on? I mean, it's kind of weird, right? And how has this affected the way that we work? Has work really even slowed down? I mean, I feel like things have gotten busier for a lot of people. So how have you guys dealt with working from home? I mean, I think it's been a little crazy, right? I used to be in meetings all the time. I put together meetings as a junior person. And, before, when you're preparing for a call or a meeting, you'd have to get dressed in your work clothes, right? Whatever that is for you. Now you just got to get a shirt. I see a lot of people that may or may not be following that advice. Kison's got a full blazer shirt, but do we know what else is really happening? And do we need to know? That's the question. Does it matter? Before, I'd have to prepare a lot of background information if I was in these really intense meetings. Now I just got to make sure my Zoom background is okay. Today I went en natural. This is just the room. But, sometimes I go meteors, if I'm meeting with Elon Musk or something. Meetings are for tying up loose ends for the most part, right? Or oftentimes you're just meeting up, taking things down, making sure everyone's good. Now you got to tie up your kids, okay? They're running around all crazy in the background, distracting everyone. And they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. Those kids are smart. This always drove me crazy, even in the in-person pre-COVID world. Just make sure you're not on mute, if something's going on. Now, for the love of God, make sure you're not on mute.
Yeah, can I get a rum runner? Can I get another drink? Rum runner?
Yeah, okay. I stand corrected. Sometimes make sure you are on mute.
Oh, sorry. I was on mute.
No worries. Just the consultant always adding value. My man. I see it. It's a great drink order, by the way.
Practical example to the point. That's what we do.
So, meetings, the meeting world has been a little crazy. And how has this affected the way we actually have managed this? Okay. Meetings have changed, but we're still doing a lot of these meetings, and meeting fatigue is still real, even if you're not in these meetings, right? The way I like to think of it is we're not doing in-person meetings anymore. And that's the rapper Drake, by the way. I'm sure many of you are big fans. He gets, 1 billion streams a year. One of my favorites. I'm sure he's doing a lot of these Zoom calls now. He's not touring. In-person meetings, right? Not doing those. But even fun digital meetings we're not doing, right? No one's using House Party to do these calls. I don't know if you know what House Party is. If you don't, your kids definitely do. Even if you have 30-year-old millennial kids like my mom, I'm on House Party all the time, but I could never use that at work, right? What are people using at work? There's like a grab bag portfolio of different things that, we need to use. I probably haven't even listed everything. There are millions of people using Google Hangouts, but they all work at Google, So how do you navigate this? Okay. Should you be doing all of these meetings? I have a helpful tool here that I've created. I call this the email or nah tool. Okay. Obviously we've received some input from our senior consultant on this. It's a process workflow. I don't know if you guys remember Clippy back in the Windows 95 days. Many of you might have grown up with him. This guy was like Michael Jackson back in the 90s, always popping up, dancing around, really livening up boring things. And if you're scheduling a video meeting, ask yourself a couple of these important questions, okay? This will really save you a lot of time. Who's on this call, okay? If there's no one senior on the call, why are you doing this to yourself? Make that an email, okay? Save yourself the time. Now there is someone senior on the call, okay? Now we're in trouble. Now we got to do this call. Is it external, right? Is it with a client? Is it with someone who does not use the same technology? If so, well, if it's not, definitely make it an email, obviously, right? We don't want to be dealing with any firewall issues. But if so, can you lie about a firewall issue? No one's going to call that bluff. I mean, come on. We deal with these all the time. Is it possible? And this is not a senior person you're lying to either, right? So come on, you know what? Use your tactics wisely. And there we go. If you can, make that an email. I might have tricked a few of you there by using the same background. Make sure you're staying sharp. That's an email. If you can lie. If you can't lie about a firewall issue, okay, now we're in deep territory. Now we really got to make some decisions. Do we care about risk management? Okay. Oftentimes we're using these services because they've been approved or they're secure, but that just creates hours and hours of dead weight loss and wasted time. Let's use our integrity here. How much do we really care about risk management? Okay. Now look, oftentimes you just can't get away with it, right? You can't win them all. Sometimes you just got to do these calls, and oftentimes, they're worth it, right? These are important calls. But if you don't, I'd like to prescribe what I like to call the YOLO method. FaceTime audio and WhatsApp, okay? And, you don't got to make it public on the call. I know a lot of you are already doing this. I don't want to blow up anyone's spot. But feel free to take a picture of this or a screenshot. I think this could be very, very useful. If you want, go ahead and just put that in your own format, present it to your colleagues as if it was your own. End of year reviews are probably coming up. So it's my gift to you.
And Anish, I think maybe, instead of the word lie, on our next presentation, we can say, are you able to use alternative facts about a firewall issue? Because that might come across a little bit more effective.
Let me update that invoice to include your tip. Oh, man.
It's only one good point
catch.
of meeting. Values there. Yep.
I've been out of the game too long. I've been doing this comedy stuff way too long. I forgot. Where are my manners?
Kison was worried. That's why I'm here. So
yeah, no,
I'm glad
you got to stay worried.
Yeah.
Alternative. I'm gonna. That should just autocorrect, right? I mean, who's updating these technologies here? So when do we normally do a lot of these calls, right? I think diligence is probably one of the biggest key points where you're always on the phone. And I was thinking through, in life we do diligence all the time, right? There's so many questions that come up in life. Am I buying a car? Am I going out to a restaurant, right? There's so many tools that are low cost and efficient that we can use. Like, if you're buying a car, I don't need a car out here in LA, but a lot of you may be driving cars or buying them. You just check the Carfax, right? What's going on with the car? Was this did this cause an 18 car pileup before, or is this brand new? Going to a restaurant, some places, maybe opening up soon. Just check Yelp real quick, right? 4 stars, okay. 1 star, no way. A lot of us love stalking billionaires. Forbes is there and ready. Literally 3 months ago, Kylie Jenner was a billionaire. Now she's not. She's just a lowly 300 millionaire. And thanks to Forbes, we know. And, what's your high school crush up to? What are him or her? Are they up to? How many kids? How many kids do they don't have? Are they married? Facebook, always coming through in the clutch. But it's always surprising to me that that doesn't exist at work, right? We struggle so much. Look at this. Is this a familiar site? Does this look familiar to anybody? I mean, we're in a conference now, but this is the ambiance that most people are dealing with on a daily basis. And we're doing marathon calls, diligence lists that are longer than a CVS receipt, mind-numbing financial alchemy during the diligence process for valuation. I think ultimately this just means, okay, thanks. I'll take your word for it. You end up not doing the diligence you're supposed to do. This creates risk. So what can we do? What can we actually do? What if I told you that there was a quick, accurate, and fun way to do cultural diligence that would also ensure that you saved money, did it quickly, and always made the right decision? What if I told you that? You'd probably say, well, Anish, I don't know. We don't really have any money in our budget for these things. I'm not sure we'd be able to embark on this process. Don't worry. This is another freebie. If you've heard of Glassdoor, I don't know if you're using it. You definitely should start. This is the Yelp for cultural diligence. Okay. And I have a case study here that's going to prove it. So I am in California. Like I said, one of my favorite technology companies, In-N-Out Burger, is out here. And, I use them all the time. And, let's just say I'm on the buy side and I'm looking at, strengthening my tech portfolio and I want to buy In-N-Out. But, I have no idea what their people are like. Well, I can look them up on Glassdoor here. They're a 5-star. This review here, these reviews come from employees. They pretty much come from the horse's mouth, right? So, this person approves of the CEO. That's not going to matter. That person's not going to be involved moving forward. They don't know that, obviously. But look what this person's saying about the company, right? The company cares about their employees. Wow. They pay above minimum wage. Okay, that's great. They have company parties. Okay, sign me up. I might even apply. Sporting events, giving out gifts. And look at the cons. The only bad thing this person had to say about the company was there's no opportunity for full-time work. How many people are saying that about your companies? This is crazy, right? Would you like anything else with your double cheeseburger? Yes, I'd like 7 night shifts, please. Like, that's literally what's happening. Some people will see this and see a great opportunity for an acquisition. Other shrewd individuals will see this and understand there are many opportunities for cost reduction here as well. So Glassdoor not only doubles as a cultural tool, but, who knows, might even save you a few bucks on the financial side. Now, not all case studies are beautiful. I do have a bonus one. I know how much we love bonus case studies. I personally did when I was in the field. Here's another example. Now read this closely and try to think through using the framework we just established. How would you think about this company as a target or even an acquirer, right? As we can see, a lot more color on the con side. This person, I feel for this person. I hope, I double check, triple check, quad check. I don't think this is any of your companies, but if it is, just, stay silent. Now's not the time to speak up. The job was nothing like what this person was sold on. Okay, that's unfortunate. Great product, which is good, right? There's something there, something salvageable, but poor leadership. That's unfortunate. Absolute chaos. You will hate life. Ooh, I kind of want to stay away from this, right? I don't really want to go near this. This is something that I don't want to touch. I'm going to surprise a lot of you in a few minutes. Turns out this is actually a successful M&A integration, fellas. Okay. The shareholders love this deal, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually a review that shows you the deal is going well. Okay. Shout out to all the private equity people in the building doing those LBOs, keeping costs LOW. There we go. So I've talked a little bit about diligence. There's 2 more things I want to talk about, for a few minutes before we get into our 2020 to 2021 outlook: integration and valuation. Very important pieces. I know you guys have been talking a lot about integration today, and there's some more stuff tomorrow. There are 2 things about integration that I've noticed that folks just spend a lot of time on and causes a lot of internal strife, right? There's the integration budget that oftentimes comes up as a big issue. And I thought, I was trying to understand it myself. And I figured the holiday season is probably the best way to actually walk through why people feel the way they feel during an integration budget process, right? You have a few main players. You have the target, the acquirer. You have peers at the acquirer, right, who may not be directly involved in the deal, but they catch a whiff of something going on and they want to get involved, right? They're like, oh, wow, something's happening. Let's go check it out. Then, of course, the shareholders for both the target and the acquirer. Now, thinking through this, I thought the target, and feel free to chime in on the chat if you've gone through this. The target must really feel like a target right before the holiday season, right? I mean, the storm is coming. There's going to be a lot of change ahead. Out with the new. Well, out with the in rather, out with the new, in with in, getting confused. It's a very confusing time. I don't think they have any idea what's about to happen. The acquirer, of course, that's actually a picture of Warren Buffett on Halloween. The acquirer, in a way, is like Santa Claus, right? They're ho, 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 they're coming, bearing gifts, but there's a bit of a fairness to it, right? Only good people are getting gifts. They've done some work. They've done some diligence. They've done some analysis. But they're coming through and they're packing. Our shareholders, this is a legend right here. I'm not sure if some of you folks remember this guy, or I think this is literally the person that I looked up to when I was in the corporate world as a stalwart of integrity and governance. Scrooge McDuck, for the targets and the acquirers. He's not trying to pay any more than he needs to, but if he's the target, he's going to jump right into that pool of money. But the most fascinating thing to me was really, these peers at the acquirer. What's going on in their head? They're oftentimes causing a lot of issues, right? Because they're just pumping up that budget, adding in all sorts of stuff, golf membership, maybe another private jet. You never know, right? They've just got to be Black Friday shoppers at Walmart. I mean, look at this. Is this Walmart or is this, just the lobby? Just the lobby at Goldman Sachs maybe a few weeks ago during a deal announcement. I mean, you can't even tell. Going crazy. You never know what's going on. So this was a useful framework for me. If you have folks that you're trying to explain this to, then feel free to use this as well. In addition to the budget situation, I think once you move past that, right, you're in a combination, who you're keeping, what the pro forma team is going to look like. Another situation I've seen come up, and people have just wasted too much time on this, is who gets what title. It just doesn't make any sense. You have all these people that are executive directors. Now they want to be VPs. You have all these VPs that want to be senior VPs. What do we do about the group heads? Someone's an assistant VP. What happens there? I mean, it's just too confusing. How about a scientific, data-driven way to do this? Okay, formulaic, proven by science. Can't argue against it. A lot of you are, you may not need this now, but when you do, you will thank me. Okay. Think of it this way. Humans are by birth in 4 different categories. Okay. And I'm thinking about the stars here, astrologically speaking. Depending on when you were born, a lot of your fate has really been set in stone. I mean, let's just be honest. You're not going to be able to change anything, no matter how many books you read, no matter what podcasts you listen to on your morning commute. At the end of the day, in Aries, you're passionate. You're at risk for burnout. Okay. If you're in that fire group, you know who you are. You're working hard, but you might be working too hard. My Earth people, where are y'all at? I'm a Pisces, by the way, for those of you who may not have figured that out. But if you're a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, we trust you. We will have faith in you. But, sometimes we would just like to disagree with you, okay, without feeling victimized, just a little bit. For my water people, stand up. I'm a Pisces. Hit that emoji up. I love being a Pisces. My Cancer and Scorpio brothers and sisters, we're very intuitive. That's what people love about us. We're creative. But, who's missing the water cooler a little bit more than some of these other people, right? I think we are. Let's be honest. So I know some of you are on that Zoom chat right now, making sure it's private, talking. It's tough. Work's got to be fun. You got to make it fun. And then lastly, we have a couple of folks who are quick-witted here, but oftentimes, they're almost like the opposite of the Earth folks, right? They can't really commit. If this is resonating with you, it's because it's true. If it's not, you're in denial, and it'll take some time for you to reflect on this. I would recommend maybe just taking some deep breaths, put yourself on mute. Long story short, here's the framework that you need to start using, okay? My fire folks, you're just the VPs moving forward, okay? Quick, simple, easy. Trust me, you'll be better for it. It'll be easier. My Earth folks, I feel like I like the head title a little bit better, head of affairs, head of finance. In a way, you guys kind of won the bingo game here. My directors, oh my God, I've worked with so many directors in my life. I feel like that's probably the top title that I see oftentimes. And, if you're a wind person, congratulations. For my water folks, we're very creative people. And I think the title needs to reflect that. So for us, it's executive. You get that little salad dressing of a word, executive, on your title. And look, like I said earlier, though, this is just science, right? This really shouldn't be new information to anybody. That's kind of the irony of this slide. I actually don't even need to be presenting this. So, but look, the point of this is just to make, if you're already an integration wizard and you're not having these issues, or you're already using this time-tested scientific framework, then you don't need this. This isn't for you. Okay. This is for the folks that are going back and forth for weeks trying to figure out, who should the senior vice director of this be? And I don't know if he deserves that title. He's only been here 2 years. I've been here since the startup days. Like if that's the kind of conversations you're finding yourself in, this is for you. Okay. So, and well, I don't know if I mentioned this, but feel free to add senior to any of these titles. It's like ketchup. Okay. Comes free. Drop it right in. All right. Let's pray. About to press a button. I just don't think the universe wants me to talk about valuation, right? I think some bankers probably hacking this. They want to control the conversation, but I got to tell the truth. That's just who I am. I think there are two big points I want to make, okay, about valuation. Some things are easier. Some things are harder. Financial valuation, I think, much easier. Let's just be honest. No need to worry about long-term projections. Are people showing you 5-year projections? I want to see 5-week projections. That's it. Okay. No need. All that present value is happening in the next 3 weeks. All right. If synergies don't happen, if you're one of these people pitching a deal, okay, whether internally or externally, go out and pitch those synergies. Be aggressive, because if they don't happen, guess what? Those murder hornets are more aggressive, and they always will be. And everyone will believe that's why they didn't happen. Quick show of hands. Who's actually seen a revenue synergy? Anybody? I think I've seen more murder hornets in my career, but feel free to detail that one out in the comments in case I have to disappear again. We could just read that. COVID adjusted EBITDA. Hopefully some of you have seen some of these decks. I'm trying to get my hand on a valuation deck that has this. It's your best friend. Okay. And by that, I mean, trust it. Don't question it. Support it even when you shouldn't. Okay. Treat it just like a best friend. On the cost side, a couple of things to think about and a couple of things to not think about, like footprint consolidation. All right. Completely irrelevant. We don't care about your 30,000 square foot facility anymore. Actually, in a way, we kind of do. When are we selling that? Are we just going to convert that? Maybe that can just be a studio for TikTok videos. Who knows, right? Here are some things you want to consolidate. Don't forget, obviously, the Zoom Pro membership. If this meeting has been, any example, please upgrade. Don't skim on the Zoom. Okay, it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. Uber Eats rewards points. Feel free to mix those up. Try to hit platinum if you can. And the most important one, Xbox Live. No reason to have multiple Xbox Live accounts. Just connect those up and get to work, right? Do the real work. If there's a role redundancy, I know this is all, don't want to talk about it too much, sensitive issue, but if this does come up, be practical, okay? This is going to be life. You see this? Me disappearing, coming back, 70 faces looking at you. This is going to be life for a while, okay? Be practical. Don't use your heart. Use your brain. If someone doesn't know how to use mute, if someone's acting like I've been acting on this call, they're cut, okay? They're done. And then, the modern onboarding process. Some of you folks probably have seen, but, I was talking to Kison about this, and, in a funny way, I think the modern onboarding process is a lot like the old college process, the one I went through at least, right? You get 2 envelopes or 2 packages. You get a small one and a big one. The small one, we kind of know what happens there, right? You get a pink slip. The big one, a brand new, refurbished Lenovo. Congratulations. Welcome to the team. But some things are harder, okay? Two quick notes. Look, I'm a sucker for nostalgia as well. So if you're doing a deal and it feels weird, not hiring consultants, like Jonathan, who should just be part of every deal team, he's always going to be helpful. Or bankers, if you have the budget, just do it anyway. It's good to have someone to talk to on some of these calls. Don't worry about it. And then if you can't spot the revenue dyssynergy after a combination, okay? You modeled some out, combination's happening, 3 months out, 6 months out, can't spot it. Bam, it's you, okay? It's you. No need to make a big fuss out of it. Don't tell anybody. Keep it on the low, but just know it's probably you. Valuation is a little bit easier. I think practically speaking, winning deals is going to be a little bit harder. We've already seen some of this in the private equity world with all this dry powder, but do we care about dry powder anymore, right? In the old days, since the beginning of time, M&A, 3 key levers you could pull, right? 3 key ways to buy an asset. Good old, that should look very familiar to a lot of y'all. Good old cash. It's actually a screenshot that I took a few minutes ago before I started this call. It's probably what's causing all the issues with the Wi-Fi. It's my buddy's black card right there, using credit as well to fund an acquisition. And then, lastly, stock, right? Everyone loves using stock for deals. I don't know if anyone has one of those originals. If you do, you should get off this call and take a jet to Maui or something, right? What's going on now, though, right? How do you bid competitively in a bid process now? Are you going to use these tools? I don't think so. I think you're going to want to get a little creative. First of all, don't touch any cash. Are you crazy? You want to be around, right? Spice up that deal. Get competitive. Use some Lysol. We all need it. We all know it. Purell, another big, heavy player. I've seen a lot of consideration mixes that involve an interesting combination of all 3 of these things. Often, I think we're trending towards Purell heavy, but I think over time, as hands get drier, I think we'll probably see a leaning towards more Lysol and late Q4. That's a nice little designer Chanel mask. Feel free to get creative. And then, if you're doing large transactions, I would highly suggest using Charmin. Okay, just much easier to manage and ship all the stuff over to the target. A couple of notes, like I said, we just need to see the mask. It doesn't actually have to work. It's kind of like a poison pill. It's just got to be in the agreement. So don't go too crazy. Don't be back testing. Getting a doctor on the call. It's fine. Just make sure you have them. Okay. Yeah.
And that they're the right color format. You want to be aligned to your brand image.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm still a little flustered. Thanks for adding that. That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. Every combination, that's probably the most important thing is the color palette. Has that been consolidated? We'll add that back in for a V Final 2.
Yeah.
V Final.
I've noticed your color palette is a little bit broad, so we can kind of narrow that in, probably reduce some of the inefficiencies in your process. So we'll work on that on another time. Then we'll get that. Be good.
Anything else? Feel free to just lay it on. I'm a big believer in feedback. I do this for a living. I think feedback is very, very important, especially in these times. But giving you guys another look at this, want to take any pictures, do your thing. Some of you might have already seen this slide if you met with a banker recently, but moving on. I talked about this earlier. So the last major segment of our presentation. A lot of the M&A Science competitors who will not be named like to do these M&A outlooks, right? They like to talk about, what they see coming up on the horizon. Oftentimes, and look, I'm just a real guy. That's who I am. Oftentimes it's a bunch of fluff. Okay. It's not actionable. There's nothing you can do, right? What am I supposed to do with this now? We have some very, very actionable insights that we want to talk about. Brought to you directly from our head of market insights, by the way. There we go. Give Shyla a hand again, by the way. If you're not muted. Is there anything she can't do? Kison, it's unbelievable. She's put this stuff blew my mind. We're about to get into it.
Amazing.
But, we see 2 major cases. And we'll talk about 2 things. Talk about, 2 macro cases that we see happening. One we believe in, one we don't. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what deals we actually see materializing. Okay. So the first case, let's just go through the bull case first, right? Why not? The bull case over the course of the next 6 to 12 months, 18 months, low interest rates, big surprise. Low inflation, could be surprising for some folks. A lot of dry powder out here. Okay, I'm not talking about Johnson & Johnson, right? I'm not talking about baby powder. A lot of PE dry powder out here wanting to get to work. Okay. And FOMO, right? No one wants to miss out on a deal, especially, everyone's playing double dutch right now, right? Oh, what are they doing? What are they doing? People want to get in on the action. This is the bull case. That's not what we believe. Okay. That's not what we believe. We are optimistic, but we don't believe the bull case. What we stand behind and what I will put my career behind, as in a way I'm doing right now, we have a buller case. Okay. We're taking this out of the park. This is wrong. The buller case, 99.8% probability this hits. Okay. Yeah, there's FOMO. There's also YOLO. Okay. Not only do people not want to miss out on deals, they're going to be doing crazier deals. All right. It's been a crazy time. All right. When people do something, they're going to go big. Okay. They're going to go big. They're going to go hard. All right. Look out for some crazy transactions coming down the pipeline. Low inflation. How about no inflation? Okay. Like, does anyone even know what inflation is? I haven't seen inflation in the last, 7, 8 years. No idea what it looks like. I've seen more unicorns than inflation. We got that money printer working. If you think private equity has dry powder, the U.S. government has a ton of dry powder. Personally speaking, we're printing so much money. I'm predicting in a few months we may not have to pay taxes. I think the government might just print cash. And then lastly, more practical belief. Advisors still need fees. They're going to be pitching deals. We're going to be doing deals. And what are some of these deals that we see coming up? 4 key deals. Okay, guys. 4 key transactions that we see materializing by 2021. Look, keep this to yourself. Don't be telling everybody. You may break a few securities laws here and there if you do. But by the second half of 2021, first transaction we see coming up, Uber Eats, Uber. Okay? All of Uber will rebrand to Uber Eats. This is already in a way happening.
Oh, there you go. Never mind.
Am I back?
You're frozen for a second. Your slide deck was.
Telling you,
you're good.
Telling you, Kison, the world does not want these, but we're going to fight against that.
I know. This is important.
All of Uber rebranding to Uber Eats. Okay, this one's huge. I don't know what the technical name for this kind of a transaction is when the subsidiary literally takes over the parent. Okay, maybe it's a Mr. Miyagi transaction. When the grasshopper becomes the master. I don't know the technical term. Okay, maybe this is what a reverse Morris trust actually is. I never actually learned in training what that was. But this is something we see obviously happening. Obvious, easy, giveaway. The protection industry, a lot of activity. Lysol buying Lockheed Martin to become the second largest global security company in the world. Okay? Second only to Trojan. We'll just leave that one right there. That's the first chuckle I've heard in a while. I guess we wanted the dirtier humor. My bad. You're not getting that. Okay, I'm under contract here. What else? Prime pricing, right? Our boy Jeff Bezos, we saw him in the beginning of the presentation. He's got dry powder. If anyone does, he's going to buy the rest of the S&P 500. Now, I want to make one thing clear. This was going to happen anyway. This isn't like a specific COVID-19 driven transaction, but now we feel it's probably going to happen a little bit sooner. Okay. Also, rumor is it's going to be closing in 2 days. But if you wait one more day, the target gets a free subscription to Amazon Music. That's what we're hearing in the terms. But we're not entirely sure. Haven't seen the term sheet. And the last one, which is my favorite transaction that and this is a funny one to see. You'll see the pun in 2 seconds. Elon Musk disclosing a 23% minority stake in the Milky Way galaxy, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be literally a big one. Literally a big one. in this transaction, which will probably be paid for by Tesla stock and all of the homes he no longer wants to own, we do think he's probably going to be the biggest single minority stakeholder, second to only Richard Branson, who, and forgive me for the bad pun here, only owns 1%. So that puts him light years behind. Okay, light years behind. But, take a look at this. Hopefully there's really nothing surprising here. Once again, very clear to me. Thank you, Shyla, for doing all the heavy lifting on this one, all the analysis. Didn't want to bore you guys with that here. But 2021 is going to be very interesting. Two last things, then I'll get out of here. Looking ahead, to keep maybe to make things a little bit more serious. The Brady Bunch really were ahead of their time, weren't they? Okay, they knew about these Zoom calls decades ago. This is a Zoom call, ladies. This is a corporate Zoom call, and it's still reflective today. It's just a bunch of white people and a few women, right? I mean, look at this. Is literally 40 years ago. They predicted what's happening now. Okay, history does repeat itself. But we're the M&A bunch. So, I wanted to just say thank you to all of you for having me and, for all the work that you guys are doing. And it's amazing that, Kison, you've been able to, you and the team and Jonathan, the sponsors and everyone else, all the presenters have been able to put this together virtually. I think it's the first of its kind. So that's crazy. So, big round of applause. You guys should all definitely be tweeting or LinkedIning or, at least sending emails about it. But I wanted to just give a special shout out to all of the folks, the M&A family, who are involved in the hard, mind-busting, sweat and blood-producing work.
Almost looks like he's singing us a song.
He is. We're missing it.
Oh, what's going on? Can you hear me?
He's ISP, right? What is in LA? AT&T?
Anish, maybe kill the deck and then maybe you'll stream better.
Oh, okay. The decks. Can you guys see the slide at least? I put a lot of work into this.
Yeah, I see the M&A bunch.
It also looks like they haven't had haircuts for a while either. So
I agree.
Jonathan, I'm telling you, Jonathan, ahead of their time. You think Warren Buffett was ahead of his time? These people right here, whoever created the Brady Bunch, ask them for investment advice. Actually, I'll backtrack a little bit on what I said. Ask them, unless you're talking to one of the writers of the Brady Bunch. But suffice it to say, thank all of you for the work that you do. This is me. I probably should have started with these credentials, but I'm a comedian, I'm a writer, I'm an entertainer, and soon to be Zoom professional. I have been featured in these places, Time Out New York, Brown Girl Magazine, and you might have seen me at Goldman Sachs. But if you want to contact me for any reason to do one of these, I did this custom for Kison and the M&A Science team. And, I love doing these. These are fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it and you had fun. If not, well, my funds still got cleared. So there you go. But just kidding. But, these are always fun for me to do. It's I might be the only person in the world that, combines my experience in finance with humor. So feel free to reach out to me, contact me. Always love hearing from fans and people.